welcome to this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. Alright guys, it is time for another classic bike rescue project intro. This time I have picked up a 1986 Yamaha FJ1200. Back in 1986, this bike went head-to-head on the sales floor with such iconic motorcycles as Kawasaki's Ninja 1000 and Suzuki's GS 1150 ES. And Honda's 1000 Interceptor. Though the FJ line of motorcycles was originally designed as a pure sport bike, it evolved into an awesome sport touring machine, and that's kind of how it's best remembered. It's the kind of bike that you can get out and cover a lot of miles in comfort very, very rapidly. I have recently rescued another 1986 FJ1200, and so this is actually almost an identical looking bike to that one. It's the same color scheme. I have done a full review on the FJ1200. If you want to watch that, you can click the link above. If you like great motorcycle content and you want to help support this channel, please consider becoming a member. Depending on level of membership, members get bonus features on this channel, such as early access to new videos and bonus content. And your support helps me continue to make great quality motorcycle content for you to enjoy. And I just want to give a special shout out to all of my members and subscribers and those of you who participate in the comment section of this channel. Thank you guys so much. I could not do this without you. All right, so the story on this one is about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, my friend Rob texted me and sent me a link to a Facebook ad where this motorcycle was up for sale. When I looked at the super clean cosmetics on the bike and I looked at the price on the ad, I honestly thought it was a bit of a scam. I contacted the gentleman who had the bike for sale. It seemed legit, so thankfully the bike was only about 20 minutes from my house, and by about 4:40 in the evening I was at his house, as were several other potential buyers, and I just said, without haggling or anything else, I was like, I'll take it. And I also bought 2 other bike projects which I'll be introducing in the future. So it was a good night. It was a very cold night. The temperature was in the 20s here. One of the keys to success if you are hunting nice condition classic bikes is to be ready to strike when you see the ad. When I went out and looked at this, I had the money set aside already, and so I could execute very quickly and make it a quick and easy deal for the seller. I want to say thanks to my friend Rob. Without him sending me the link to this ad, I would not have been able to pick up this bike or the 2 other ones that I picked up in the process. Looking at the cosmetics of the bike, one of the first things you'll notice is it has mirror block-off plates up front, and it has bar end mirrors. And this makes the bike actually look really slick. The stock mirrors on the bike are a little bit goofy looking. Looking at the paint and bodywork overall on the bike, it honestly looks superb for a bike that is as old as this bike is. Looking at the exhaust on both sides of the bike, there are no scuffs or dings or road rash marks, so it looks like this bike has never been dropped. The paint on the engine is still very good. The tires front and back still have plenty of tread on them. They don't look to be dry rotted, and we'll see how they are when I get it out on the road, but I may leave these on or I may replace them with newer tires once I get this bike running. Cosmetically, really the only downside on this bike is the slave cylinder for the clutch has been leaking for some time. It got brake fluid all over the case that covers it, and it has peeled the paint off, so I'll have to reshoot that. Obviously, I'll have to rebuild the slave cylinder as well. I will probably also rebuild the master cylinder on the bike. When I squeeze the lever here, I get no pressure at all, and I'll probably just rebuild the entire clutch hydraulic system. I will also do the same thing for the brakes. I notice that the brakes on the bike are currently hanging up, so it's honestly pretty difficult to push forwards and back, and I don't really want to squeeze the lever, but when I accidentally did while loading the bike, there was no brake pressure that I could really feel. The calipers in the front need rebuilt. I'll also get a rebuild kit and rebuild the master cylinder on the brakes, and I'll probably replace the brake lines as well. But again, we'll see how it functions once I get this bike running and out on the road. I honestly assume it's going to be the same deal for the rear brakes, and I will probably have to rebuild that system as well, both the master cylinder and the caliper itself. When I do brake rebuilds and clutch rebuilds and master cylinder rebuilds, I typically order my parts from a company called Brake Crafters, and they have a host of parts available. They're good quality items, and I've had great success with those over the years. Even if I need a piston for a brake caliper, they have sets that include the piston. As I'm standing here, I smell some old gas. I will go in, I'll drain out this fuel tank, I'll check it out on the inside and see what I'm dealing with there. Hopefully it's clean, shiny metal. Again, when I looked at this bike, I did not have the luxury of time or daylight, and so I had to make a decision very quickly. But I will deal with the consequences of that decision, and I'll take full responsibility. The forks on the bike actually look pretty good. They are not pitted. I don't see any oil on the fork legs, and so it doesn't seem like the fork seals leak. One thing I'll note is that the pipes on this bike have been polished by a previous owner to the point where the black chrome is almost looking like a mix of black chrome and regular chrome. I honestly think it looks pretty cool. I don't mind the look of it. And this is just an example of what happens when you over polish the black chrome pipes that were so popular in the 80s. Aside from all of the fluids on the bike, which obviously I'm going to change, I will probably have to go in and rebuild the carburetors. I'm hoping that's a fairly easy task. Again, you just don't know until you get in there. Even though I got this bike for what I consider to be a pretty good deal, the reality of rescuing classic bikes is that it takes quite a bit of money to kind of get them from a non-running bike to a bike that is fully functional and out on the road. I know that every project I've worked on, there have been surprises along the way. And so, you know, if somebody thought that they could get this bike and just go out and ride it for the summer for cheap, they're pretty much sorely mistaken. I know just with the items that I am currently aware of, we're talking into the thousands of dollars if I would take this bike to a shop and have them work on it and actually go through the bike from front to back and make it nice like I want it to be. Fortunately, I can do most of the work myself, and I enjoy rescuing these classic bikes. Just giving a quick glance to the chain on the bike, it honestly doesn't look bad. I'm sure it's been replaced somewhere in the 36,000 miles that are on this bike. Before I make a decision whether or not it needs to be replaced, I will clean it and lube it. I'll inspect the sprockets. I'll make sure everything is good to go. And if those items need to be replaced, I will replace them at that time. All right, it's time to get back to work here. I cannot wait to get this bike sorted out, to go through it from front to back and just rescue this beautiful piece of motorcycling history. I will keep you guys updated on the progress on this project as I go through it and the items I find and what I do to actually restore the bike. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, enjoy the ride.